Hi ladies and gentlemen, this time let's look at this highly anticipated release from Great Warhawk, a 1/32 scale P40B Flying Tiger. It's the new premium aviation series and is to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the American Volunteer Group. The box cover features a rather nice illustration of the plane, and here it says for the first release there are some 3D printed parts and a gift are included. And here is the side of the box and the end. Well, on the other side of the box there's some rendering of the CAD drawings, and then on this end of the box is the same design as the other end. Well, now let's have a look inside. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 spools of parts. Some rubber tires, and a box of parts, and then there's the instruction, and a bag of decals and masks, and then some photo etch frets, and here's the gift. And then these 2 large printouts for painting instructions and also decal placement instructions. And here you can see that there are quite a number of flying tigers you can choose from. Okay, let's look at the instruction first. The cover of the instruction features the same illustration as the box. And at the back, it starts with a few points about building the models, and then some symbol on assembling the kit, and then some recommended tools, an instruction how to apply decals, and how to assemble the photo etch parts, and then a list of recommended paints to complete the kit. As we open up the cover, we can see that the cover is actually a standalone leaflet. Inside, there's an illustration of all the contents inside the kit. Then we come to the actual instruction. And you can see the instruction is very clearly illustrated. And most of the diagrams are the rendering of the CAD drawings. And you can see that there are lots of details being put into the internal structure of the fuselage. And here you can see that even the trimming tab is separate. Separate aileron. And then we have some photo etch parts for the internal structure of the flaps. which should look very nice once complete. And you can see that all the internal details with the down flaps. And here is the assembly of the landing gear in the down position. And there are a set of parts to assemble the landing gear in the up position. And there are a great number of parts to build up the engine. And here is the instruction. Next, we'll have a look at all the parts. First of all is the wing sections. You can see the molding is very sharp and clear. There's a lot of details on the part. That's nosing mark. And the details are really nice. The seats is composed of 3 separate parts, giving it very authentic scale thickness. And you can see the flash in the small parts is almost non-existent. And here's the other side of the parts, the inside part. So there's a lot of rippings, and I think it's to ensure the wings is straight, not bent. And you can see most of the ejection marks are located in the inside of the parts. It won't be able to see them once the wings are assembled. Then we have the fuselage halves. Again, the molding on the surface detail is very nice, very sharp. Even for the small parts, the details are nicely rendered. The flaps has all the recessed rivets. I must say the panel lines are in the right size. They're not that shallow that once you paint it with base coat and then top coat, and they will disappear. And then for the inside of the flaps, there is no ejector mark at all. And then we have this sprue which contains the front cowlings. And there's the air intakes in the top of the cowling, which is very the unique feature of this plane. But then again, the molding is very crisp and sharp. That's the propeller. And you can see the details on the spinner are very nicely executed. And then the fairing of the wing joint. With the details being molded on the slide molding. Then we have the sprue of the tail. Again, a lot of details is being molded on these parts. The trimming tab, I think that's what they call it, right? Lots of details. And then the wheel wells. The canvas cover for the tail wheel, then the ailerons, and the rudder. And then you can see the small parts are very nicely molded, and there is minimum of flesh, so cleaning up is very simple. And also the alignment of the mold is spot on, so there isn't really much flesh on the parts. Again, all the ejector marks are located at the back of the parts, and once they are assembled, none of them will be seen. And here is a sprue of all the detail parts, the cockpits, and then the some of the bulkheads, and then the machine guns. Again, very nicely molded and very clean and sharp. And then the landing gear. You can see how they avoid the ejection mark on the main struck of the landing gear. And then the wheel well cover. So this is the back of the parts. And this sprue contains mainly parts for the engine. Again, the molding is very sharp and lots of details are being molded on the all the parts. So there are a lot of parts to build up this engine. So, it should look very nice once assembled. Here's the stand for the engine. You can see the small parts has minimum of flesh around them, so cleaning of them is relatively simple. Just a couple of quick swipe with molding knife will get rid of the parting line. See the alignment of the molds are very almost perfect. No flesh at all. And then here is a sprue of all the plumbing for the engine, all the hose and wires, I suppose. These parts are very delicate. I think a good pair of cutter, it's essential to cut them off from the sprue or from the runner. Once again, for these kind of delicate parts, the alignment of the molds is very important. If the molds are not aligned perfectly, then there will be steps on the parts, between the top and the bottom of the parts, and then that will be a nightmare to clean up, or almost impossible to clean up. But we can see that for these parts, the alignment is almost, it's not almost, it is perfect. So I think, cleaning up of these parts is so simple and easy. Maybe a coat of surface can hide the parting line, and you don't even need to clean up the parting line at all. And here are a couple of sprue that are the same, so let's look at one of them. And here's the wheel insert for the rubber tires. You can see the details on the spinner. And the details inside the wheel wells. So the firewall of the engine and the machine guns. And here are parts for the exhaust. Then here are the wheels. These are the wheels if you don't want to use the rubber tires. And then there's a pilot figure. Yeah, the figure is not the best in the world. I mean, a resin figure would be much better. But then again, you can't complain because most of the model now don't have a figure included. So, and then here are the rubber tires. Personally, I don't like to use rubber tires, but there must be people who likes them, or else they won't include them in the kit. And then lastly, in this box, we have the clear parts. Now the clear parts are very sharp and very clear. And there is slight distortion on the parts, but of course there are a lot of curves on these parts, so it's difficult to not to have some distortion. And then here are the 3D printed gun barrels. You can see the cooling vents are nicely reproduced. It should look very nice. Replacing those solid barrel in the plastic part, and that's a nice little card with some of the specs or the history of the American volunteer group. And then that's the pre-cut masking for the canopy. And then we come to the decals. The decals are very nicely printed. Again, the registration is spot on. And then we have a few style of the shark's mouth graphic. I think there are so many versions you can build, and they all have different mouth. And then we come to the other insignias. Actually, the decal film is hardly visible. It's very clear, but because of the difference of shininess between the decal film and the backing paper, so you are able to see some of them in the shot. But in real life, the film is very clear. And again, I go take a really close-up shot of the some of the placards and also the instrument faces, so you can see how the detail and sharp the printing of the decal is. Yeah, you can read some of the lettering of the decals. And then we have the photo etch threads. I haven't taken it out from the plastic bag because they are very thin. And then you can see the wire mesh for the radiator. It's very delicate. But again, you know, photo etch is photo etch is photo etch. They all look the same. And here's the free gift. And then some magnets. And lastly, we have some giant poster for the painting guides and also the detailing guides. These are printed in very gloss, thick paper, so it's difficult to avoid the reflection. And here you go, the amazing P40B from Great Wall Hobby. I must say, eventually we got a kit that lived up to the legend of the Flying Tigers. The details, both externally and internally, are right up there with all those top-notch manufacturers. This will be very popular with all the AVG fans. My Christmas comes early. Once again, thank you for watching. Until next time, bye bye.